Hi there and welcome back. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for supporting this channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. You'll see that I'm doing some interesting content and I'll show you how we can model cars like this in Alias. So for today's video, I'm going to be adding a radius along here, wanting to make this rear end look more like it's mesh contender, if we want to put it like that. Actually, we can leave it as it is. So that's something easier for us to do. Let's see how we are doing there. So I'll bring up some sections, look where we are, and that will let us know where we can go from here. So I'm turning the shading transparent because I want to see things as they are. This looks pretty close. Something I can actually live with. I like that. While this area is working well. So the radius itself, we will have to add it only at the end because we've seen here in the scan that that is a hard edge. That is a hard edge there on the reference model. And that's that one there. So that's job done for that area. We just need to check this area here. And to be able to do this precisely, I can actually jump to the next topic that I wanted to cover for the rear end, and that is building the rear lights. What we need for that is the contour, projection, and let's make it look like the reference model. For that, I will look at the rear projection area, projection lines. So I've got that in there, where the lights will end from that perspective. And let's see what else we need. We'll need some side projections, probably. And that is correct. So I've got all that dialed in from previous videos. If you haven't seen those, please do check those out. And if not, yeah, let's just keep on building here. We can actually see that this is actually hooking up here, so we still need that radius. And that is actually cool because we can work some nice, easy magic in here. And this is what I mean with easy. I'm going to be projecting in the side view these curves and then play with the resulting surface on there. That's going to make it super easy for this exercise. So these go into the side projection layer as well. We need to make sure we're working clean and we have everything done as it should be. Order means easy working. And as you've probably noticed, well, all the times in Alias, if you don't snap your new geometry to anything, it will be built automatically on the central plane based on the view you're in. So if you're in the side view, it's going to be on the XZ plane and so on and so forth. So I'll do a side view projection on these two surfaces off of this curve, and on these three I'll project that line there, and that will make that radius that we're seeking here. And what I'll do, I'll just drop in freeform blend between those curves and surface. I'll make sure I don't trim. So I did trim that with that tool, so I want to keep this area here. Let's turn off trim type, auto update on, and let's go. I've just clicked that one, and by clicking that line, it already adds the second surface there. And I want to use Bezier surfaces, because what it will do, if I turn this off, it might jumble up the CV layout and it would add spans, and I don't want spans, as you've probably noticed by now. So there we go. And let's try our luck here. And there as well. That does it. Now I want that blend to have the same sections. Turn on, and we see that we are pretty close there. Take that deviation, we're parallel with it. That one as well, but over there it's good, so the size of that fillet is the correct size that we need there. Now let's take away the mesh. Let's untrim this, trim it back. Let's trim this back. So what you've just seen here jumping out like that, that's actually the blend, which got confused because I untrimmed the whole surface, so it automatically will want to go through here. So I'll hide away these curves and surface and trim this back to this point, to these two areas. Hopefully the history will have adjusted that, and it didn't. So this is where maybe having history is not that helpful, but it's not such a big deal to rebuild some blends. So nothing lost. Let's go ahead and do that again there. That looks clean. And now what I'll do, I'll delete the history on this, and then trim this back. Also get rid of this history here because I don't need it anymore. Trim that back and trim these back as well. That's a nice one there. Makes everything look nicer. As I said in my previous video, I want to add here also some radii, and let's make this look better. The first one that I want to add is actually here, because the original card doesn't look like this. And for this purpose, I will show you another way of, I'll show you one cool way of doing this. So I need these two surfaces, and I'll hide everything else, and I need my mesh there. And we can notice that this transition starts kind of here and ends roughly here. So what I want to do is I'll snap to that line, something like this. And I want these to go in similar to that intersection. This one will be more like this here. And I'll hide away the mesh. Yeah. I'll extend these. I'll take the CVs and I'll move them out. The reason why I'm doing that is I want to be able to adjust and work with those two surfaces quite freely. And I want all of those to sit on the same plane. And I'll put the curves into the layer called rear projection. So let's go ahead and do an X projection of this, and X one of that. Let's untrim these to avoid the problem that we've just had. So this is the way we overbuild as well. And I'll add now freeform blend between the two areas. Trim this back. Add that onto the work layer. There we have it. And let's pull up the mesh. So that's following that radius there on the mesh. One could argue that we could bring this curve a little bit down. So this way we're following this a little bit more. This one could move out a little bit as well. There we go. So I like that edge there, like this one. But what I don't like is that here with this one, we're not following along there. So let's find that and fix that. There we go. So that definitely belongs to the rewire frame. And let's hide everything else except that. Now what I want to do is I'll take that CV and slide it on this curve a little bit more. So that highlighted curve sits more or less on the core of that radius there. There we go. So that should do it. Let's hide away the mesh, and you can already see that everything has adjusted accordingly, so that's nice. And the next bit that we need to do is, although I'm happy with the way this works, if I want to match that mesh there, I would need to change the angle on that surface. And that's also pretty easily done. You hit their bigger number, -50. You can see it's already coming through. Let's hide away the mesh. And you can see that. And although it might be like that on the original car, I haven't checked that exact detail. It's up to you to do that, and that's your due diligence for this part. I will keep it as it was, so -18.5, let's say, because I like the way this thickness goes gradually to this thinner area there. Now I'll intersect this surface with this one, and also take this surface of this one, untrim here, because I want to project X, that edge there, and I want to keep now this as is. That looks better. That makes it look better. Next up, that radius there, and this one there. So that's gonna give it a lot more detail. To get that in, let's have a look at the mesh. Where are we? There we go. I've got a quite tight radius down here. This one as well. And we might add this one to the mix too, because they all come to that same point. So let's check this out. Okay, enough checking. Let's have a look at this. I'll come down first with this one, end it here, and then come with this little one all the way down here. It's opening quite a lot, that area. This surface is actually needing some finesse there. But I'll show you at a later stage how we do that, because I want to demonstrate some things here in the near future. So let's take care of these rough volumes first. What I'm doing here, I want to make sure that I see intersection between that surface and that one. And to get that, we need to extend this curve here. So if you've kept your history, I've got that in there. Now this does the nasty trick of getting adjusted. Now we've got it under control. Let's hide the mesh. So that looks nice. I'm reluctant to adjusting that surface yet, because I don't want to go into changing that whole corner. That's going to be in a next video, because I like that full volume that we've got there, but our mesh is a little bit different than that area. You see it's got a bit of motion there, so we need to fine tune that area there. It needs here an accent direction change between that volume and the rear. And I want to have one video where I concentrate on that and demonstrate how we close these back in and get those things done. Okay? This gives me an idea. I might do local adjustments so we resemble to that more. So let's see if that will work for that bottom area. there. And we've got that area coming down like that. What I want to do is actually take that surface and take a line like that and try and get it in, opening to the bottom a little bit. And then I'll project this in this view. There we go. What I want to do there is basically keep that area. So I'll hide away that curved surface. Actually, I'll just keep this and make it quick and dirty. So that's what I want to have there. That's what we are missing from that area. Maybe we could actually pull this curve here. That CV down, a bit back, to kind of match that there. So let's take care of this. No blending. That's what I'm after. Let's trim this back. There we go, we've got that there. Let's take now these surfaces and have some fun with them. What I want is to project to that surface this curve. And now that I've got that curve, I'll duplicate that. Move its pivot down there. Move the curve out here and scale it up. Slide the projection onto that surface from that curve there. And this will allow me to blend from that area to that area. And the reason why I'm doing this is the following. Going curvature to position. And you see that's already getting closer. Now what I want is actually adjust that curve. Give me that soft area there. This is what I'm after. Let's push this forward, rearward, and adjust this. Bring up the sections, trim this back, and let's see where this places us. That's getting us pretty close. This one is its sections as well. Now what we can do is we can actually query edit this and add some rotation, some more rotation there. So I want to go meet up with that line with that one. So let's try and get there. This looks more promising now. places us closer inside that volume there. Just put 9, so I'll deviate a little bit, but that will mean that I'm coming out here. That's a lot of adjustment work to be done there, but it's worth it. Okay. And what we've done here, we need to do it on this surface as well. So let's take away that curved surface. Let's project to that, something like that. Let's extend that curved surface back. And it doesn't want to do it, but we've got some tricks up our sleeve, and that's placing a line somewhere in the lines there. Get that in there. Now extend that curve. Delete that curved surface, and now let's reproject this. So what we need now is projecting that view, that curve there, and let's trim convert this back. I want to keep the originals. So all I want to achieve here is a little patch that does the same motion of this one here. The reason why I've done that, I was looking at this area and it looks like it's blending from this full volume to a slightly negative one, accelerating to that area there. So this is why I'm doing this. Seeing there, I'm not so happy about it, but if it's part of the model, there's only so much you can actually change every time. So let's go ahead and align this surface to that one. Let's make sure that the hulls still align. There we go. That's a nice one. Now these ones, well, I'd like to have them sliding back because I want a nice transition there. I don't want to force everything. And that curve can also take some adjustment. Go. It's tedious work, but it's worth it. I don't really care about the CVs up there. The only thing that I'm looking after is a nice projection onto that big blend that we've got at the base of it. That's all I'm looking for. So this is getting to a decent transition. So project normal there. That we don't need anymore. And now that gets done onto that area there. And that's about it. realign these things. Making sure that things match up. Now that we've got that in, let's take care of the rest of the stuff here. And this protrusion here will be taken care of once we massage that area in. I just want to get this closed and then get the opportunity to demonstrate something interesting for that area. Okay. What else do we need? Well, we need here that closed. And we will do it like this. Just one patch going in there, and that's it. Closing this up. So I'll project that there. Put that root to there. And we'll have a four-sided in that area. That does the trick for now. It's all closed. We will take care of this later on. We will flatten this a little bit towards the end. But now let's get back to what I wanted to do for this video, and that's getting these in. So quick radius here. So I'm sure that one of the settings is not allowing this to be built. So that's why we go in here. Of course, 150, that's a lot. Let's go with 20. 20 is plenty. We could go with 15 as well. There we go. Not so bothered about the history on these little radii, so I'll take these surfaces and close this up. I'm more interested in the history of the big patches. That's where the real work goes in. So let's get this closed up. So the generation, the attach curvature. This one also curvature, so that's real 2. And let's go into explicit control on 5x5. And then some manual alignment will be necessary, as you can see. Let's leave this one as tangent only, or position, and then we will go into that adjustment. Or let's try something else. Let's get that patch over there. See what that one does. Yeah. As I thought. Let's extend this. And let's project then X onto that surface, these 2 edges. Let's trim convert it without keeping the originals because we don't need the original there. Now let's attach this one to that curve. Partial turned on. Let's bring this back here. So already one thing closed up. Let's attach that one there. There's a second thing closed there. And now let's fine tune this. I'm just going to work it normal to the surface direction. Have it to achieve a transition from that area down towards there, and here I want similar transition basically. This will slide up a little bit. This will slide over here a little bit. That's more like it. This one slides in, goes a little bit deeper in. This one comes out a little bit, slides across. This one as well. And now let's evaluate here. Check tangency between them, which is not there. So let's align these 2 tangent, and I'll use the vector setting there. That's it. That does it. And now what I want is maybe a bit of fine tuning on these. Want a bit more pull on these highlights. So coming from that area, pushing down. Okay. That's it for that area. Now let's work this radius down here. All we need is these patches. And there's a certain reason why I'm doing only these at the moment. I want to untrim this here. The curving surface disappears. I'll realign it tangent by projecting this onto this one. Normal direction. I'll add one more CV. That does it. I don't need the history anymore. And what I will be doing is generating that radius there. Play with the size of it. That feels very similar when it comes to the size of that radius. So that's good. I'd like to increase it here at the bottom a little bit, but that's done by using the variable fillet setting. I'll lock in here one end. So I want to continue with that size going through. I'll add one more lock around here. So that controls the size in that area. And now what I want to do is I want to increase this by just simply dragging that along there, giving me a bigger radius and hopefully not crashing Alias. That's something I really like seeing. I don't really like that many parallel radii. You don't need to necessarily delete the construction history, but it does help with the file sometimes. So now we will have a radius for that area, and since that surface is going through, I just want to set default on both sides, making sure that it's not going to build something off the rails. I'll set start on edge align. And now I want to see the same thing happening on that area there. And I'll set that on default. So I want to have the endpoint edge aligning. There we go. And now the last bit that we need is to close that area. And a neat way to do that is like this. I'll project in X, that edge on there. I'll extend it. Extend the surface as well. I'll trim convert it back. There we go. Now we can delete this, because what I want is now this. To extend, I want the same projection, X, but of that edge. Extend that. Trim convert it back. we go. That we don't need. A freeform blend from this edge to that one, curvature to position. So let's do that. Delete the history on that one. Really don't need. So I've deleted the history on that, changed the CV count to 5 because we've got 5 there, 5 there. And now what I want to do is the following thing. I want to project a line curvature onto that. Increase the CV count to 5 in that area. And now we can see where we've got little mistakes in that surface. So let's go back to the dark art of CV massaging. Ooh, this is not good. So this should run nice and smooth and have a nice transition from that area to the bottom there. So what we want, what we're aiming for is pulling some of these CVs in such a manner that these start becoming more natural flowing. Natural flowing would mean that they're not S-ing that much and that there's a nice transition and a nice looking line from one side to the other. Now this could actually come down a little bit lower. This one as well. Move down. Move over that way. This one could slide that way as well. This one could do this motion here. Same here. This could allow for more of that transition down there. What I want here is also to work with those CVs going that way. So I might even risk it, take it on to the wild side and just trim convert that back. And then let's build actually a different surface here. Let's align this to this using the edge setting and blending it a little bit. Factor 1, just 2 rows. So it's pulling those CVs with it ever so slightly, or no blending at all. That does it. One more thing that I like to do here is I actually want to extend that surface there. So I want to extend here this curved surface. I want to extend that surface up to that line there. Almost up to that point there. Because what I want to do is realign that little piece to this one. And what I want to do is have a nice transition to that point there. that last CV will slide down ever so slightly. This one as well. So I want to clean this up. And what this allows for is actually a nice fade out. And I'll show you in a bit. As this surface gets aligned by projection onto this base surface here. We'll need to clean that one as well up because I forgot to hit the Bezier button there. And I'm not happy about this at all. What I will do is actually cancel that, bring in a line up to that point there, and then project it in the side view, so clean this up. The CV layout here is nice, but at the bottom it is what it is. And I don't like that, so. So side view projection of that curve over there. We don't need it anymore. And G2 edge alignment onto that curve there, just partially. And I only want that to work like that there. And let's do a nice magic trick here. Do this. And I'll do a nice hull cleanup. Based on that input there. And this helps us to clean everything up nicely. Just don't want any position influence. I'd rather add one more two more lines of CVs there. You know that is working now, so that curved surface I want to align this surface as well to it. Just a little bit here. Delete that again. And now align this by projecting normal onto that surface. There we go. That does it. This one there as well. Now I'll align this one tangent to that one. I'll use the vector setting so it doesn't change too much there. It's quite a bit of work that went in there, so I don't want to ruin that. Let's trim this back. And what we have achieved there is a few radii coming to the same area there, and then we will have a nice fading edge over there. And one bit that we are missing is closing these two up. So I'll untrim that last step, this last step, align curvature, this surface to this one, partially on this length. Now trim this back. I'll align this one position to that one. Leave the curved surface there. And this one goes G2 to that one by projection. And trim this back. That's it. So we've prepared the ground for the work that's going to come around this area. Let's take care of some of the essentials now. Hide all that. I want to hide the mesh is hidden anyway. So what I want is to clean here up a little bit. So I want this and all this to go on curves we don't need. Or we can put them in the rear wireframe in case we want to reuse them or adjust something like we're going to do later on. And now all of this, including this, moves on to, it will go onto the work layer. This is 3D stammering, nice one. Someone can achieve that as well. There we go. So let's bring back the work layer. Got that nicely done there. This one, the change of heart. And have another change of heart because I don't like these kind of free will movements of our surfaces. So I'll project align it onto that one, making sure that I'm using that setting there, the edge setting. This gets trimmed back, and once we get down to that area, this will get and see some detailing as well. Everyone likes a nice detail job, right? So that's that area prepared for some love in that upper corner there. So that's it for that area. One thing that I'm keen on doing is actually looking at how that is working. But we will detail the diffuser later on. I'm just happy we got that in this video in. I know it seemed a little bit slow, but I'm doing this to show you actually step by step how we do that. For the more advanced, they will know what to do. For the beginners, I'm happy to help and get you guys on a running level. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you in my next videos. And for those ones who had the stamina to stay on, thank you. Subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, keep on going. This is for you.